Overhaulin became one of the most watched shows on television. The television series aired for a total of 5 seasons from 2004 to the year 2008, afterwards which it was put on pause for 4 years. The program ended in 2015 following a second version that lasted a further 4 seasons in 2012. There was a brief comeback in the year 2019, lasting only 1 season. Overhaulin, Chip Foose's pet project, has a relatively simple layout. The crew would acquire an ancient object of trash, generally a US classic, and turn it into a contemporary marvel with a few modern modifications. Truly incredible, isn't that right? Yes, that is the response in Overall. Each vehicle featured on the show has a distinct past. Several overhauled motorists were prone to intense emotions upon having their vehicles repaired. Even still, not every cry was a joyful one. One of the worst things about reality television was makeover. You saw nothing of what it appeared to be. The cast members had a week to make the required modifications and return the car to its proprietor after they'd stolen or misplaced it. Regarding their transformation, the show's staff and performers were not given any creative flexibility by the show's creators. The group did not give up and consistently delivered the vehicles on date. It was a stunning achievement. Given the changes the automobiles received, Chip had to labor around the clock to fulfill the deadline and complete the task, together with a large group of elite designers and mechanics. The group was proud of what they had accomplished, and the results were always outstanding. Chip Foose is an extraordinary motor developer who garnered several awards for his remarkable masterpieces. He received an induction into the Hot Rod Hall of Fame in 1997, for instance, making him the youngest designer to hold that title. His remarkable career started off with this achievement. He would go on to become an acclaimed businessman and media personality. Coddington was the face of US hot rod and an expert in the automotive world. Before their relationship began, he cooperated with Foose for a while. Their disagreement originated from financial matters. Foose struck off on his own, taking several of Coddington's skilled employees, causing Coddington to declare filing for bankruptcy. Foose admitted outright that Coddington essentially ceased speaking with him after that event. Despite his passing a few years ago, Coddington continues to be highly respected in the automotive industry. This is an ancient narrative as old as time itself. A gifted young person receives instruction from a seasoned expert. Later, the experienced person faces difficulties, and the gifted person succeeds on his own, surpassing the achievement of his mentor. Their wonderful work combined and seeming decent hearts make them both seem like genuinely lovely men, even if it's unfortunate that they ultimately drifted away. Real-life programs constantly require drama. They feel so much enjoyment from it. There were, however, occasionally arguments between the Overhaulin cast members. It might surprise you to hear that the majority of these were written ahead of time, frequently as a result of the short 8-day deadline. In the end, Chip Foose had good relationships with his fellow workers. The cast members were as passionate about their profession as Chip was, and he liked working on the show. Conflicts off-screen weren't particularly common. Generally, everyone Chip worked with on the project was quite positive. The first problem with each program is its manufacturing costs. Hiring highly skilled producers and mechanics comes at a considerable cost. The exhibition largely depended on the participating companies to either supply the parts or give them at lower rates in order to keep cost as low as feasible. Exposure was undoubtedly an advantage of this. Getting Chip's name attached to your business on a high-profile car reality program is a prize in and of itself, and it may even balance out any parts loss. Without these sponsors, every one of Overhaulin's production costs, which had previously been significantly higher, would not have been feasible. So they were the lifeline of the firm. The initiative seemed to be well received since businesses were willing to provide their items in exchange for publicity, suggesting that the idea was a success. A riveting story that the viewer can identify with is one of the most crucial considerations made by the producers when choosing applicants for the show. Many applicants want assistance with rare, expensive antiques or valuables inherited from family members. The finishing adjustments made by the Overhaulin crew provide the car a substantial value boost. Mark is presented with an issue when he views the finished artwork. Does he sell the car to get money, or does he keep it because it has emotional value? Some men decide to sell their cars in order to cash in on a nice profit. The now famous and highly regarded designer once worked behind closed doors at a business named Hot Rods by Boyd. Chip decided to launch his own design company, Foose Design, when the business collapsed. We're happy he did anything. Chris Jacobs, Chip Foose, and Courtney Hansen were the initial 3 presenters of the car's program Overhaulin. She claims that the reason she has always enjoyed vehicles is because they are curvy and feminine, much like females. When she was hired as the host of the Overhaulin Show, her life completely transformed. Chip Foose is not a TV personality, he's a car man. In the end, he truly believes that his inventions should be seen by as many individuals as possible since he thinks the automobiles are so incredible. He may be the main attraction, but someone has to. To him, cars are everything. Additionally, he has discussed how his celebrity prevents him from going to car shows with his kid. A few of them suffer harmful degrees of modification, even though the worth of an overhaul project will almost probably exceed that of the initial car. Occasionally, an automobile receives a major improvement that alters the perception of that vehicle. The famous contradiction gave rise to the phrase Ship of Theseus law, which deals with what may be changed on an automobile and how a lot of work has to be done on it until it is deemed to be a distinct car. Changes to the chassis will alter the nature of the automobile and may even create a whole new asset class, even though adding new exterior is permissible. This is because a car's identity is often linked to its chassis. Fans of that certain kind won't be searching for a car that has been significantly altered, which will lessen or alter aspirations and identity entirely. A significant amount of money and numerous car components are needed for the manufacture of Overhaulin. The automotive parts that the manufacturer had to buy in order to modify the automobiles added to their already substantial financial load due to their high running expenses. 3 major sponsors sponsored each of the program's elements, allowing Overhaulin to operate on a budget for several seasons. The producers required the suppliers to guarantee the availability of replacement parts at all times and to deliver the components on time. Despite having a fantastic name, Gas Monkey Garage appears to need some assistance with marketing. The owner of Gas Monkey Garage goes as Richard Rawlings. Perhaps you have heard of him before. Even though he and his band appeared on Overhaulin, a poor marketing strategy was the main reason for the project's demise. The Overhaulin episodes in which they featured were thus canceled. Many organizations find it difficult to grasp this one. Although it may be very tempting to seize a great chance, you still need to act cautiously to prevent humiliating yourself or jeopardizing the one you were given. After receiving tough training at Gas Monkey Garage, Rawlings went on to become quite successful and host his own program, Fast and Loud,